Abraham is a key figure in the Bible, known as the father of many nations. He lives in Canaan but goes to Egypt during a severe famine. Abraham fears that the Egyptians will kill him because of Sarah's beauty. He asks Sarah to say she is his sister instead of his wife. Pharaoh sees Sarah and takes her into his palace as a wife. Pharaoh gives Abraham sheep, oxen, donkeys, male and female servants, and camels in exchange. God sends great plagues on Pharaoh and his house because of Sarah. Pharaoh questions Abraham about the lie and returns Sarah to him. Abraham leaves Egypt with all the wealth he gained. This event happens around 2000 BC in biblical chronology. It shows how fear leads Abraham to exploit his wife for personal safety and profit. The Bible records this in Genesis chapter 12, verses 10 to 20. Abraham moves to Gerar after the events in Egypt. He again tells people that Sarah is his sister out of fear for his life. Abimelech is the king of Gerar and takes Sarah into his household. God appears to Abimelech in a dream and warns him that Sarah is married. Abimelech confronts Abraham about the deception. Abraham explains that Sarah is his half-sister, and he feared being killed. Abimelech gives Abraham sheep, oxen, male and female servants, and silver. He also allows Abraham to live anywhere in his land. God heals Abimelech and his household after Abraham prays for them. This incident occurs later in Abraham's life around the same historical period. It highlights repeated behavior where Abraham prioritizes his safety over Sarah's dignity. The account is found in Genesis chapter 20. Lot is Abraham's nephew who lives in the city of Sodom. 2 angels visit Lot in the form of men. The men of Sodom surround Lot's house and demand the visitors for sexual relations. Lot goes out and offers his 2 virgin daughters instead. He tells the crowd to do whatever they want with his daughters. The angels intervene and blind the men to protect everyone. Lot and his family escape before God destroys Sodom. This event takes place before the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah around 2000 BC. It demonstrates Lot's willingness to exploit his daughters to protect guests. The Bible describes this in Genesis chapter 19, verses 4 to 8. Joseph's brothers are the sons of Jacob, including Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, and others. They hate Joseph because of his dreams and their father's favoritism. The brothers throw Joseph into a pit while tending sheep. Judah suggests selling Joseph instead of killing him. They sell Joseph to Ishmaelite traders for 20 pieces of silver. The brothers dip Joseph's coat in goat blood to deceive their father. Joseph ends up as a slave in Egypt. This happens when Joseph is 17 years old, around 1900 BC. It illustrates jealousy, leading to human trafficking within a family. The story is in Genesis chapter 37, verses 12 to 36. The Ishmaelite and Midianite traders are merchant groups traveling from Gilead to Egypt. They buy Joseph from his brothers for silver. The traders transport Joseph to Egypt as a slave. They sell Joseph to Potiphar, who is an officer of Pharaoh. Potiphar serves as captain of the guard in Egypt. Joseph rises to power in Potiphar's house despite being a slave. This trade route involves spices, balm, and myrrh. The event occurs in the patriarchal period of biblical history. It shows how merchants profit from buying and selling humans. The Bible records this in Genesis chapter 37, verses 25 to 36. Onan is the second son of Judah and brother to Ur. Ur marries Tamar but dies without children. Judah tells Onan to marry Tamar to provide offspring for Ur. Onan sleeps with Tamar but spills his semen on the ground. He does this to avoid giving his brother an heir. God sees Onan's actions as wicked and puts him to death. This leaves Tamar without children or security. The incident happens after Joseph's sale into slavery. It reflects exploitation in family obligations and levirate marriage. The account is in Genesis chapter 38, verses 6 to 10. Judah is one of Jacob's sons and Joseph's brother. He promises Tamar his youngest son, Shelah, after Onan's death. Judah fails to fulfill this promise, fearing Shelah's death. Tamar disguises herself as a prostitute to sleep with Judah. Judah gives her his seal, cord, and staff as pledge. Tamar becomes pregnant with Judah's twins Perez and Zerah. Judah initially orders Tamar burned, but admits his fault. This occurs in the same period as Joseph's story. It highlights hypocrisy and exploitation of women in ancient customs. The Bible describes it in Genesis chapter 38. Amnon is the eldest son of King David. He desires his half-sister Tamar, who is Absalom's sister. Amnon pretends to be ill and asks Tamar to prepare food. He grabs Tamar and rapes her despite her protests. Amnon then hates Tamar and sends her away. Tamar tears her robe and puts ashes on her head in mourning. Absalom later kills Amnon in revenge. This event happens during David's reign around 1000 BC. It shows abuse of power within the royal family. The story is in 2 Samuel chapter 13, verses 1 to 22. Herod is the tetrarch of Galilee during Jesus' time. He arrests John the Baptist for criticizing his marriage. Herodias' daughter dances at Herod's birthday banquet. The dance pleases Herod and his guests. Herod promises her anything up to half his kingdom. She asks for John the Baptist's head on a platter. Herod grants the request despite his regret. This occurs around 30 AD in the New Testament era. It demonstrates exploitation of a young girl for entertainment and political gain. The account is in Matthew chapter 14, verses 1 to 12, and Mark chapter 6. The owners are men in Philippi who own a slave girl. The girl has a spirit of divination and tells fortunes. The owners earn much money from her abilities. Paul and Silas arrive in Philippi preaching the gospel. The girl follows them, shouting about their mission. Paul casts out the spirit in Jesus' name. The owners lose their source of income and drag Paul and Silas to authorities. They accuse them of disrupting the city. Paul and Silas are beaten and imprisoned. This happens during Paul's second missionary journey around 50 AD. It illustrates labor trafficking for profit in the Roman Empire. The Bible records this in Acts chapter 16, verses 16 to 24.